This is the Georgia Farm Monitor. Since 1966, your source for state and national agribusiness news and features for farmers and consumers about Georgia's #1 industry, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by the state's largest general farm organization, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now, here are your hosts, Ray DeLessio and Kenny Burgamy.
Greetings to you. I am one half of the Ray and Kenny team. Ray DeLessio with you for the next half hour or so. Kenny Burgamy, meantime, he is on assignment and will be back in studio next week. As for this show, coming up, Georgia's young equestrians are honored at the state capitol. A chance to show lawmakers the popularity and the importance of their favorite pastime. Also on the program, the FAA announces its long-awaited rules governing how UAVs will be legally allowed to fly in the U.S. for business and ag purposes. But are these rules the final decision? And then later, Ranger Nick is back with details on a special program at UGA that's preparing service dogs for possible use in agriculture. All this and more starting right now on the Georgia Farm Monitor. And we begin in Columbus, Georgia, where recently Georgia Farm Bureau County presidents gathered for the organization's annual President's Conference. The event is geared to educate County Farm Bureau presidents on new policies and procedures, as well as bring them up to speed on new initiatives designed to support Georgia agriculture. The Monitor's Mark Wildman has the story.
Over 250 Georgia Farm Bureau county presidents, other Farm Bureau volunteer members, and staff met at the historic Ironworks Convention and Trade Center in Columbus. The Georgia Farm Bureau President's Conference highlights many Farm Bureau programs and initiatives geared to educate county presidents.
We're supplying our county leaders today with information to help them be a better steward of the County Farm Bureau, to be able to make sure that we protect our sensitive information for our members and just kind of tidy up and make sure everybody understands some of the issues that's out there in the world that people are having to face.
One of the main issues Farm Bureau is working on is making sure Georgia agriculture's voice is heard in fighting a new rule EPA is trying to establish that will greatly enlarge their area of influence in regards to water on your land. American Farm Bureau's Don Parrish spoke to the group about this issue and thanked them for all the comments Georgia has submitted in fighting this new rule.
Georgia has been amazing, clearly head and shoulders above any other state Farm Bureau in terms of the amount of grassroots activity on this issue. Ditch the Rule is well accepted and has been a tremendous initiative by the American Farm Bureau Federation, and it is a way to show grassroots activity, and it's a way that really helps members of Congress understand that there's real problems with this rule, even though they may not understand the details of it, and we've still got work to do.
Georgia Farm Bureau is very active in the legislative arena, and at the conference, staff members from the Legislative Department of Georgia Farm Bureau spoke about a new program that allows farmers and other members to stay connected with legislative issues.
Well, Voter Voice is a new interactive system. What we're seeking to do with it is make it as easy as possible for our members to be able to communicate with their elected officials. Farm Bureau's strength has always been our numbers, and when we can get everybody activated and motivated to contact their legislators, we can accomplish most any legislative feat we seek.
Georgia Farm Bureau has created a new foundation for agriculture. This foundation will be an important part of educating the public on Georgia agriculture, and the foundation is seeking support from the ag community.
There's just so many people in this state that doesn't know anything about agriculture. They think about they can just go to the grocery store in time and get it. They need to understand what rural Georgia and rural America really does for them.
Other sessions included meetings on personnel management issues at the county level, county president's survey, and an update from Lisa Benson, who specializes in rural development for American Farm Bureau. The information that was presented at the conference will be carried back all across Georgia to keep the entire grassroots organization informed.
You know, if you look, you got 2 or 3 people from each county, and I think we have 120 plus counties here, so we got 3/4 of our counties here today, and we got their ear. Not only can we help lead them to do a better job at their county and assist them, not really lead them, but assist them in doing a better job in their county, but they can also give us feedback of what they need and the things that we can do or develop at the state level to deliver to them to make their job easier.
Reporting from Columbus, I'm Mark Wildman for the Georgia Farm Monitor.
All right, Mark, great job. Thank you very much, sir. Meantime, in what's being called a landmark decision, the FAA has finally released its proposed regulations for the use of commercial drones, also known as UAVs. The proposed guidelines cover drones weighing a maximum of 55 pounds and require that they be flown only during the day at a maximum of 100 miles per hour and no higher than 500 feet. The FAA would also ban their use in their airports, and they could only be operated by someone with a certification who keeps the vehicle in line of sight at all times. Also, anyone using UAVs for commercial purposes will also have to obtain a special pilot certification to operate them. Now, originally, the FAA was to issue its final regulations by September of 2015. However, some experts say that is highly unlikely and that a more logical time frame could be within another 2 to 3 years. Reaching for new heights. That is the theme for this year's GFB Educational Leadership Conference, set for the weekend of March 6th. A fitting title indeed, considering the conference is being held at the Atlanta Green Marriott in Stone Mountain, Georgia. Sponsored annually by the GFB Women's Leadership Committee, the purpose of the conference is to promote agriculture through education and to expand participation in all phases of ag in hopes of building leadership and achieve a more effective organization. Now, this, of course, will be the first major event of the year for new Women's Chair Janet Gruhl.
We have 10 ladies on our committee, and I'm supposed to be leading them. Well, I hope we can take a lot of people to the ag in the classroom this summer and just promote agriculture with children and adults.
Well, recently, hundreds of state and national champion equestrians paid a visit to Atlanta to be recognized at the 6th annual Equine Youth Day at the state capitol. And as Damon Jones tells us, this event, not just for kids, but for legislators as well.
There was plenty of country brought to the big city recently as cowboy hats flooded the state capitol as part of the annual Equine Youth Day. More than 200 state and national champions were in attendance to be recognized by legislators and even the governor himself. It was a fun event that showed many of the kids the legislative side of the industry for the very first time.
And any kids that have won any national event or state event are invited to come up here, and we take them over to the Capitol, let them look around, and just sort of honor them.
This is year 6 of the event, and it drew by far its largest crowd. It's a fact not lost on the legislators as they are becoming more and more aware of just how important the equine industry is to the entire state.
Most people up here, and the representatives and senators, very few of them realize just how many people, horse-oriented people there are in the state. And this is something else. The first year we were up here, a lot of the representatives and senators would say, what in the world's all these cowboy hats doing up here? And so we're just a small little teeny-weeny part of it.
Now, just how big of an impact does the equine industry have on the state? It contributed more than $320 million to the economy. That's more than better-known commodities such as pecans and even corn.
One of the things that our committee has done is tried to get an economic impact, and the economic impact that we had run maybe 2 years ago now, it was a lot higher than anybody had realized it was. And I think we were like 6th here a couple of years ago of all the commodities.
And no one knows this better than Governor Nathan Deal, as he himself grew up around horses. It's an activity that he says will teach kids lessons and provide them important traits that they will carry with them for the rest of their lives.
But that is one ingredient that is always necessary for success. It is the ingredient that has caused you to be successful, and many of you will be recognized for that success, and that is this. It is determination. You can't give up. You have to stick with it. And one of the great things about dealing with livestock, in whatever form or fashion it may be, is that they teach you determination. Because if you're just short on determination, you're never going to be successful, whether it's showing a horse, showing a cow, a pig, or anything else dealing with livestock.
Reporting from Atlanta, I'm Damon Jones for the Georgia Farm Monitor.
All right, Damon, thank you very much. Still to come on the program, no need for extra soil or chemicals. See how a group of students in Rossville, Georgia, created a state-of-the-art lettuce farm using only water and fertilizer. And speaking of students, no need for a field trip to the farm when the farm can come right to you. When we come back, an inside look at Georgia's mobile dairy classroom and the thousands of miles it travels every year teaching kids the basics of agriculture. All this and more when the Georgia Farm Monitor continues. Keep it here. Another day and another stop for the Georgia Mobile Dairy Classroom. Today's audience, students at Mount Zion Elementary in Carrollton, Georgia. Now in her 6th year of Mobile Dairy Classroom coordinator for Georgia, Nicole Karstead estimates that she travels between 30 and 50,000 miles annually teaching folks about the basics of dairy. Miles that are well worth it based on the responses she gets.
Just the excitement the kids, even adults that haven't ever seen a cow up close before. Yesterday I was at a school and I think the teachers were more excited than some of the kids because they've never had that opportunity to see a cow up close and see the whole milking process. The Department of Ag actually runs this program and it's funded by Georgia dairy farmers. So it's ran by ACCM, Agricultural's Commodity Commission for Milk. And so Georgia has a checkoff that pays for the program. So all the milk that's sold in Georgia and is produced in Georgia goes to their checkoff, and it funds this and other programs too.
Of course, a special program like this calls for a special bovine, one who's capable and willing to travel great distances, all in the name of educating the public on the importance of dairy. Molly here, well, she's not only got the it factor, she's a show business veteran.
She is, yeah. Molly is 4 years old. She's a Holstein. She's black and white. They're typical looking Holstein dairy cow. She came from Windy Hill Dairy in Sonoa, Georgia. So she didn't have to travel too far, and she's been a good sport about the winds and the excitement of the kids today. Most dairy cows are pretty docile and gentle because they are milked at least twice a day and handled regularly. But all of the cows that we use are previous show cows, so they're used to traveling on a trailer, used to going to different areas, and also have stayed overnight, and they'll walk on a halter, kind of like a dog walks on a leash. So they're used to the crowds and used to the traveling excitement.
During the busy season, Karstead says she's on the road in upwards of 5 times per week. Her lectures include a full-blown milking demonstration, how cows actually produce milk, and even what dairy farmers do in order to grow the food cows eat. Still, even after 6.5 years of doing this, there are times when Nicole is a bit taken back by the fact some people really don't know where their food comes from.
Sometimes I'm surprised on what they think is a dairy product. So like earlier, a little girl yelled out when we were talking about the different dairy products, eggs. And some kids, they think that they don't know where their milk comes from. They think it's just in a jug. They get it from the grocery store. They don't realize that it comes from a cow and that there's a whole milking process. And then also how much food she eats and the way we take care of our cows.
Schools and organizations interested in possibly having the mobile dairy classroom come to their event can contact Nicole Karstead at 877-444-6455 or by email at nicole@milkcow.org. Well, here on the Georgia Farm Monitor, we have told you before about families that have started their own hydroponic lettuce business. And today, Kenny Burgamy takes you to one Georgia high school where student agriculture is a major priority, and the hydroponic lettuce is a spinoff of their aquaponics farm.
Over 120 students at Ridgeland High School near Rossville, Georgia, have learned a thing or two about growing their own lettuce, hydroponic lettuce. The hydroponic system uses no soil or extra chemicals, just water and fertilizer.
I feel like I learned a lot about marketing and how to sell and make a profit on things, and on leadership skills also.
Science teacher Justin Caruth described for us the varieties of lettuce and the process that the students use.
The raft that we have, and as you can see, which you can't see when you grow plants in soil, is the root system. And so our students are actually able to watch transpiration occur underneath the microscope. We can pull these roots off once we begin to sell it, and we can do various labs with this, but you cannot see all the intricate parts that go along with the root system.
The lead ag teacher at the high school, Peter Davis, said they've taken the local project to a global scale, designing systems to send to people in Haiti who have trouble growing their own food. He said it was a vision to connect agriculture with the school's STEM program. That's made up of science, technology, engineering, and math. Plus, they've partnered with Georgia Tech.
Once we went through and we looked at how kids need to step outside the box, we need to think outside the box. Aquaculture was a perfect fit, something nobody in our area was doing, but yet we're just here a couple miles from the Tennessee Aquarium. And this was an opportunity for us to get together with a lot of scientists, a lot of people of profession in aquaculture industry, and bring this into Ridgeland High School. We had several folks that got together and talked about what can we do, what's the vision, what vision can we take to this, and one of them was exactly what you see today.
And the teachers and students have the full support of the Walker County administration, including the school superintendent, Damon Raines.
Well, definitely, and we're an ag community. Walker County has a lot of farmers still in our communities, and we have a great relationship, not only with obviously with Farm Bureau, but with our Young Farmers Association. We're reaching out into the community quite a bit to enlicit their help with what does this look like for some of our kids who maybe aren't going on to college. What can we do to prepare them to help you on the farm?
And the great thing that I enjoy about my students is I never get asked, what's the purpose of this? They absolutely know what the purpose of it is.
Just a reminder, if you missed any part of this story or others on today's program, you can still see them in their entirety at our YouTube channel. That is the Georgia Farm Monitor. Once there, you can browse the archives of stories dating as far back as 2009. Also, once you're done watching all those great stories, just keep clicking. Like the Georgia Farm Monitor Facebook page we have set up for you. The likes continue to increase. If you have a story idea or if you just want to leave us a comment or a suggestion, feel free to send us a message either on Facebook or at the address listed below. That is news@farm-monitor.com. Well, after years of planning, the Direct Marketing and Agritourism Committee finally held their first official meeting recently here at the Georgia Farm Bureau headquarters. And as committee chair Jake Carter says, besides promotion and setting new policy, this group will also be discussing very important issues that affect this growing industry.
There are many different issues that we're going to face, whether it be taxes or liability for us as producers that are involved with agritourism, making sure that we as, working on the definition of agritourism that we can go to the state legislature on. So many different issues that we're going to talk about today and set forth new policy.
Up next on the Monitor, Ranger Nick tells us about a very unique program at the University of Georgia involving service dogs and how, believe it or not, they can actually be trained to help out with everyday life on the farm. But first, as we go to break, we'd like for you to meet one of the many faces of Georgia agriculture.
Good morning, I'm Bob McLeod from Wilcox County, about 60 miles south of Macon. I'm chairman of the Fruit Committee. Some major issues facing the Fruit Committee, of course, are labor, that's a concern for anybody that's producing anything, and also food safety. The Fruit Committee is instrumental in the policies that we set for Farm Bureau to lobby for our growing efforts, and we appreciate what Farm Bureau does for us.
Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack was in Oklahoma with Frank Lucas, former chairman of the House Agriculture Committee, to mark the progress of implementation of the 2014 Farm Bill 1 year after becoming law. Vilsack has praised the Farm Bill for programs that help new farmers get started. One young woman asked him for advice on getting into farming.
Understand precisely what you want to do and how you're going to do it, and take full advantage of the beginning farm and rancher programs that provide you the guidance. What is it that you want to grow? And is what you want to grow, is there a market for it? And by the way, with all due respect to everybody else in this room, you guys are the most important people in this room because you're the future.
The Farm Bill is the main agriculture and food policy law in the U.S. It covers both agriculture and other responsibilities of USDA. When the Secretary returned to Washington, he talked to reporters about the President's proposed fiscal year 2016 budget. Later, he talked about the proposed budget being first and foremost about supporting agriculture.
Over 42,000 producers will have an opportunity to obtain credit to either own a farm or operate a farm. Majority of those loans will go to beginning farmers and socially disadvantaged farmers.
Vilsack said USDA's portion of the proposed FY 2016 budget is less than what was proposed in fiscal year 2010. That's all for USDA Week in Review. Follow, tweet, and stay informed at usda.gov.
And that was Susan Carter reporting. As always, thank you very much, Susan. And thank you, Ranger Nick. Every month here on The Monitor, UGA Associate Professor Dr. Nick Furman gives us a unique perspective on agriculture. Some might call it thinking outside the box. This month, he tells us about a special program at UGA that has literally gone to the dogs.
Well, you can pet them, love them, walk them. You can even clean up after them if you want. I'm talking about dogs, and on the campus of the University of Georgia, we've got over 35,000 Georgia Bulldogs, our students that walk this campus every year. This month, we're not only talking about Georgia Bulldogs, and I'll introduce you to 3 of my former students. We're going to talk about service dogs and how service dogs on the campus of the University of Georgia are trained to go off and help agriculturalists not only here in Georgia, but nationwide. So sit, stay, and check this out. So I'm joined now by Dina Izzo, provides leadership for the guide dog services that happen on this campus. You might be wondering at home, how can these dogs assist someone on a farm or a ranch? Dina, tell us about that. How do these dogs prepare to go out and serve someone in that capacity?
Absolutely. The dogs are trained by going by landmarks. So a landmark can be a building, it can be a mailbox, it could be a barn, it could be a gate. It is whatever the handler teaches them. If you were walking a path out to the barn, you could actually tell the dog to find the barn, and they could assist the blind handler in making it there safely and not veering off that path.
Wow, and if I'm a veteran, if I'm someone that's on a farm, maybe not blind, but another physical disability, what are some other things a dog might do in that environment on a farm?
For example, depending on the type of door handle that's on a barn, there's a special piece of equipment that is attached to the handle, and we teach the dogs to tug, which is to pull open that door and hold it open for the person to walk through the door.
It's just amazing, the services that these animals provide. You know it, folks at home, I'm an animal lover. I just cannot imagine the power of what y'all are doing for these dogs, for what you're doing for people, what you're doing for our students here at the university. So thank you so much. That's wonderful. So we're talking about dogs, and I've got 3 of my former Georgia Bulldog students with me this month, Jake, Eli, and Carrie, joined by Caesar Dog of the College of Ag right here at UGA. These students won a teaching competition in one of my classes last semester, and they're going to teach us today about how service dogs can benefit all kinds of different folks. I can't wait to hear from them. My tail's already wagging.
So here at UGA, it is very common to come across a service dog being trained. You can see them on the bus, you can see them on the sidewalk, you'll see them in class, you'll even see them in the dining hall while you're eating. It is very important not to approach these dogs without permission from the trainers though, because certain dogs in certain phases are not allowed to be pet because it distracts them from their work.
Hey guys, don't forget, canine dogs provide an invaluable service to folks right here on campus and around the country.
So this program is unique to the University of Georgia. Currently, we have 115 service dogs on campus that our college students are training. The university campus offers a lot of stimuluses for these dogs to desensitize them to everyday situations they'll face once they have a real owner and being used as a service dog.
Well, obviously, someone has gotten tuckered out by all the excitement that we've had on campus today. I want to thank my students, Eli, Carrie, and Jake, and Caesar Dog, of course. Everybody knows at home, follow us on Facebook. Search Ranger Nick on Facebook and go to the page and like us. While you're there, check out the Georgia Farm Monitor Facebook page and like that. This has been a doggone good time. And as always, what's that? I think I heard him saying, enthusiasm's contagious, so pass it on. And I was going to get to that point. Y'all, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you right back here again next month. See ya.
Thank you very much, Nick. Well, last but not least, one quick note. If you haven't heard, America's Small Business Tax Relief Act of 2015 is now official. It recently passed through the House by a vote of 272 to 142. Now, it essentially allows taxpayers to expense up to $500,000 of investments in new equipment and property per year, with the deduction phased out for investments exceeding $2 million. Georgia Farm Bureau, by the way, was a major advocate for H.R. 636. And unfortunately, that is going to do it for this week's edition of the Georgia Farm Monitor. Just a reminder, for all the latest ag info regarding food, great recipes, and what's happening down on the farm, be sure to check out our Twitter, Facebook, and Pinterest page. You'll stay informed and see what's up in the world of farming and the Farm Monitor Show. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next week right here on the Georgia Farm Monitor.